What do Frank Sinatra, Bob Hope, Harry James, Sammy Kaye, and Xavier Cugat have in common? In 1946, these five icons of American entertainment were not merely stars of stage and screen, they were visionaries, investing in a bold new venture just miles from the Atlantic surf, a gleaming new racetrack set against the backdrop of New Jersey's beloved resort town, Atlantic City. That vision became reality on July 22nd, 1946. Just a few years after the state of New Jersey legalized horse racing, Atlantic City Racecourse opened its gates to a roaring crowd of nearly 30,000 patrons. They came dressed in their finest, ready to wager on the ponies and partake in the thrill of an entirely new spectacle by the sea. Among the track's founding partners was John B. Kelly Sr., a man whose name carried both prestige and power. A multimillionaire who made his fortune in the construction industry, Kelly was also a three-time Olympic gold medalist and the father of future Hollywood legend and Princess of Monaco, Grace Kelly. For Kelly, Atlantic City Racecourse was a labor of love and no small investment. At a cost of roughly $3 million, the track was built to dazzle. The inaugural season of racing stretched across 24 days, during which an impressive average daily crowd of 15,617 placed an average of $1.3 million in wagers, staggering numbers for a brand new venue. Under Kelly's stewardship, the track flourished both as a sporting institution and as a social destination. In many ways, it reflected his own philosophy: elegant, competitive, and resilient. In September of 1953, Kelly's commitment to excellence yielded one of the racecourse's most enduring legacies: the debut of the United Nations Handicap. Designed as a premier turf race, it quickly became a crown jewel in the national racing calendar, attracting elite thoroughbreds from across the country and beyond. Over the decades, the United Nations Handicap would be won by a pantheon of turf legends: Round Table, Mongo, Dr. Fager, Fort Marcy, Manila, Lure, and Sandpit among them. But Atlantic City Racecourse wasn't just a home for horses. It was a stage for spectacle. During the summer of 1969, the track played host to one of the largest music events of its time, the Atlantic City Pop Festival. Over 3 sweltering August days, more than 100,000 fans flooded the grounds, much to the shock of the surrounding community. They came to hear the revolutionary sounds of Janis Joplin, Creedence Clearwater Revival, Jefferson Airplane, B.B. King, Chicago, Joe Cocker, Joni Mitchell, Santana, Little Richard, and Three Dog Night. Just 2 weeks later, Woodstock would steal the spotlight, but for those who were there, Atlantic City's own festival was no less magical. Throughout the 1950s and 1960s, the racetrack thrived. Together with Monmouth Park and Garden State Park, it helped form the backbone of the New Jersey circuit. Its mile-long turf course, unique night racing schedule, and proximity to the beaches made it an irresistible detour for vacationers looking to add a little excitement to their evenings.
Well, while some people were still eating breakfast this morning, it all happened. The gambling casino here in Atlantic City opened. Mike Power has the report.
But the tides of fortune are not always kind. In 1978, the first casino opened in Atlantic City. And while casinos would one day be credited with saving many a struggling racetrack, in this case, they spelled the beginning of the end. With gaming and glitz now just 14 miles away, Atlantic City Racecourse suddenly found itself competing with the very brand of glamour it had once epitomized: lavish showrooms, marquee performers, and the round-the-clock allure of slot machines drained both attention and attendance from the aging oval. Despite these challenges, the track sought to adapt. In 1983, it became the first racetrack in the United States to receive approval for simulcast wagering, an innovation that allowed fans to bet on races from afar. However, the New Jersey Supreme Court suspended simulcasting just 2 years later. It took a statewide referendum to reinstate it, a lifeline that kept the track afloat, though it never quite restored the glory days. A glimmer of hope emerged in 1998 when a proposal surfaced to install slot machines on site, a potential revival that could have transformed the property into a hybrid racing and gaming venue. But the measure failed, and with it went perhaps the last realistic chance of long-term survival. In 2001, the track was sold to Greenwood Racing. Under the new ownership, the race calendar shrank dramatically. Only a handful of racing days were maintained each year, just enough to retain simulcasting rights. Though fans still turned out enthusiastically each spring for the brief but beloved Turf Festival, Greenwood showed little interest in expanding the schedule or investing in improvements. For them, the track was a tool, not a treasure. As the years passed, the once grandstand fell quiet. The paint chipped, the weeds grew tall, and the paddock where champions once paraded became a silent monument to a vanished era. In early 2015, Greenwood Racing announced what many had long feared: Atlantic City Racecourse was closing for good. Today, the crowds are gone. The turnstiles are rusted shut. The grandstand, where once cheers echoed into the twilight, stands empty and crumbling. On the turf, wild grass sways where hooves once thundered. There are no more races, no more champagne picnics, no more star-studded nights beneath the lights. But for a fleeting, unforgettable chapter on the Jersey Shore, Atlantic City Racecourse was everything.
A sudden thrust. 4 Stars All-Stars grab the lead. War on the outside is going to have to do better. Marco Bay at the hedge. Star of Cozine is 3.5 back and is not firing. It's not his day. They come inside the last 1/8 of a mile. 4 Stars All-Star after everything. War on the outside won't give it up. One's defiant and one's relentless. It's luring 4 Stars All-Star, and it looks like Lure has gotten there in the last couple of strides.
A cathedral of speed and spectacle, a haven of glamour and grit, a place where the past galloped forward and the future seemed to shimmer just beyond the final turn.